Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's the Darkest Timeline. Yeah. You got me talking me stuff. Talking about Parents' Evening. What do you do when your child is doing well at school? There's a bit of something about some weight in there. Anger management. And how the anger management's going. I've got new music. Something we don't often have on the podcast, but every now and then we do. And I've got some for you this time. TV, games, no movie, I'm afraid. In fact, no, that's not even true. There is a little tiny bit talking about a movie or a series of movies. Check that out. Before we get started, please do consider like, share, subscribe, and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. Share the podcast around, people. That's what we like. Share the podcast around. Right. Here we go. This is CookieCast, Darkest Timeline. Hello. How you doing? I tell you something, it gets later and later every week. I think I scuppered myself that time that I once upon a time I did that podcast in the afternoon, and ever since then it's got later every week since. And now it'll be the next day by the time I finish this one. So yes, all will be revealed as we work our way through this one. How are you doing? Are you good? Are you well? Seems to be a loaded question these days. Nobody seems to be well at the moment. As previous, if you're feeling maybe like you're not doing all that well at this moment in time, reach out. Reach out to us here at the podcast. Anybody here will be happy to talk to you. And if you don't feel like reaching out to strangers in both sense of the word on the internet, then there are obviously services out there. And I would just encourage you to reach out to friends, family, loved ones, co-workers, just anyone. Just reach out to somebody. The world is a better place if you are here and talking to someone and just saying, I'm not having the best of times. So just know that. But on a different note, I hope you're well. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're feeling well. If you are, you're one of the lucky ones at the moment. I was saying to Leanne, she seems to be having something. The children seem to be battling through a variety of different things, and I think as parents, you're maybe a little more resilient to some germs, but I think that obviously your body still has to. Your body still has to deal with those germs, so you might not feel tip top. Myself, I have recently found that things hurt a lot. To the point where it's even made me think, maybe I should take tomorrow off. Not work as such, just like take the day off, like all the nonsense that I do. And then I went and ate like a savage this evening. So, yeah, two don't really go together. So something's going to have to give. And it is, of course, my weakness. I went to Parents' Evening. It's a bigger statement than you can probably imagine. I went to Parents' Evening. I thought it was a bit random. I thought it was a bit of a random point in time, and then literally got a thing today to book to go to more Parents' Evening. I was like, I guess it's just the time of the year. It felt super early for a Parents' Evening, but I guess not. Being a secondary school, little bit more complicated to get in to see teachers. Ultimately, with a primary school, you're trying to see a teacher. With a secondary school, you're trying to see multiple teachers, but so is everyone else. And I was like, look, I just feel like I need to see like the big ones, English, maths, and science. Not able to do that. Wasn't able to get in to see one of the teachers. Fully booked. I was like, how does that work? But hey. So off I go on my merry way to see teachers. Not gonna lie, felt a little, I'm gonna hold my hands up on this one, felt a little redundant. I'd had my daughter's school report, which was glowing, as they generally are. So I was a bit in the camp of, what am I gaining by speaking to teachers? Are they going to send me a school report that's like, oh, your daughter's doing really well? And then I speak to a teacher and they're like, your daughter's doing terribly. That kind of like, I presume if the report says, oh, she's doing well, they're not going to be like, oh, she's the worst. So I was a bit in that camp of, what does this gain? But did want to sort of touch base as such. I'd heard good things about these teachers, so I was a bit like, well, let's see what we've got going on here. And away I went on my merry way. Got to the school, got told where to go and what to look for and stuff. And off we go, and we go to see the English teacher. Interesting experience. It was in the library. Got to look around the library from a seat I was sitting in. Quite interesting. Spoke to English teacher. English teacher was like, yep, great, wonderful, fantastic, brilliant, this and this and this. High level this, high level that, high level the other. I'm like, cool. Very short, because as we know, like when a weird sort of way to put it, but when I review something and I review something that is good, that review generally goes along the lines of, it was good. I kind of felt like it was the teacher's way of doing a me kind of review, because they were like, it is good. I'm like, cool. Anything else? Not really. Like, okay. Off we go to see the maths teacher. The maths teacher's like, hey, she's doing well. She's doing good. Not a strongest subject by any count, but yeah, it's all good. It's all groovy. It's all gravy. I was like, okay. And this was where things got weird, because they were like, yeah, not a strongest subject. Obviously, she's in the top set, and she's the one of two children that's got full marks across the board, but not a strongest subject. I'm like, I don't think that's possible, because those two things contradict each other. As I'm learning, somewhat the hard way, when you go to secondary school, everything can contradict itself. My favourite is a certain subject of my daughter's, which I bring up every time. Absolutely glowing report, but needs to revise. Okay then. So yeah, some of it, some bits of it can get a little confusing in a sense, but then at the same time, it's like, hey, if she's doing well, thumbs up. And that was it. I was out the door. I think in total, I was maybe there 15, 20 minutes, and I spent like less than 5 minutes per teacher, and they were like, everything's great, everything's wonderful. I was like, cool. I get in the car, I drive home. I'm driving home and I'm thinking like, my children have had like a run of things at the moment. Like each one of them has had a thing. All of my daughters have had like dance. My eldest has had her show. My eldest has been picked for a reading competition. My son's had a move up in his football lessons, and I've had parents' evening for one. I've got parents' evening for the others, and it's like, you know, they're all on a real good run, a real good roll. Does feel a little weighted towards my eldest because she seems to be doing quite a lot of stuff at the moment. So, you know, do a lot, get a lot kind of thing. So there is a little bit of that. It's kind of weighted in a certain direction. So I'm driving back. It's not the shortest drive, so plenty of time to think. And whilst I'm thinking, I'm like, what do you do? What do you do? What do you know? How do you say to a child, "Hey, you're doing real well. I'm impressed. You're doing well." And I said to Leanne, I said to my daughter, and I was like, you know, my thing is generally, let's go get something. What do you want? You want? It's always the same. It's always like, you know, let's go spend some money. I feel like that is possibly something from my childhood coming through, I guess. I imagine it's probably something like something I was either lacking or something that sort of struck a chord with me or something like that. But yeah, very much a thing for me. And I was saying to Leanne, I was like, what do you do? She's had this real good run of stuff. And Leanne was like, you just have to tell her, you know, just tell her that you're proud of what she's done, proud of, you know, every effort that she puts in, all the effort she puts in. You know, she's always giving 100%, etc., etc. I was like, right, okay, I'm going to do it. So middle daughter had a party, and I was like, hey, how about me and you? These are the things. These are the vulnerabilities as a parent. How about me and you go and do a thing while the party's going on? We can go and do a thing, and, you know, be like the olden days when we used to go into town together and all this and that. She was like, yeah, sounds great. I'm like, cool, because she could have said, I'm good, thanks. And I imagine in not too distant future, that will be her answer. No, I'm all right, and I'll be like, oh, okay then, I'll go on my own, shall I? So you gotta cherish these moments. So took my little daughter to a party, dropped her off, left her there. I was like, I'll be back. And me and my eldest went off. We went to the place we used to go every Saturday morning for years and years. Every Saturday morning we would go. We'd go in there. She'd get a breakfast and a juice, usually like a porridge or something. I'd get a coffee. Sometimes if we were there a little while, I'd get another coffee. And yeah, it was like a little tradition of ours. So yeah, we did it the same as we used to. We went in, and after a while I was like, you go and get a seat and all this, and we sat, and I said to her, I was like, look, I need to talk to you about something. Now, I use that to trick her. I use that to lull her. I use that to put her off guard because, obviously, as we all know, when somebody says the phrase, hey, I need to speak to you about something, it's never good. Never good. It's always bad. So I sort of set it up like that. I was like, hey, I need to speak to you about something. But then I was like, look, you know, you've had a bit of a run of stuff recently, and I need you to know that I'm very proud, and I don't necessarily have all the words to be able to actually get that across to you. So I need you to know that I'm very proud. And that's that. And we had a nice time, and we went and did like shopping, but not like shopping. Like I said to her, I was like, my instinct is, hey, let's go and buy something. I was like, and you guys know if you get a good school report and you get a good parents' evening, you can have a thing. But nobody ever wants anything. So I'm like, hey, you know, if you do good, you can have a thing, and then nobody wants a thing. I feel like I've let you all down. So we went and bought some sweets and some cakes. But that was for everybody, so it was a bit like that. But yeah, it's like the inadequacies of parents. Like for me, you know, my vocabulary lets me down. How do you say I'm proud in a bigger and better way? What is the next level? I said to her, I was like, you probably know words better than me. You can tell me how to say it. And she had a little chuckle and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I'm serious though, you know, I don't know words. I mean, I don't know good words. I know that my fucking watch isn't charging again. What is going on here? Is the thing plugged in? Is the fucking bullshit fucking charger that's supposed to be a proper... See, it's not even doing anything now. Oh, it tells me it's charging. It makes the blinky blinks. Here's an idea. Why don't we tell it to do... Right, it's been telling me for about 5 million years that there's an update. Maybe it's because it's like, oh, we can't steal all your data and use all your data against you. So you need to update it so that we can steal all your data and use all your data against you. But now, because you haven't let us steal all your data, use all your data, we're going to stop charging. Maybe it's that. Oh, it's verifying. Cool. I'll leave it to do that. I wrote down on my list that my weight was out of control. And then stepped on the scales this morning and was like, oh, I managed to pull it back by weigh day. Yep, you're just going to keep doing that, you stupid thing. Oh, now it's doing some. Oh, it's doing something else. What might it be doing? It's a mystery. Oh, it's installing. Okay, lovely stuff. Maybe it'll charge after this. Who knows? I can't get into my thing. Right. I don't know. I don't know what to say. What I can say is this. There are things that I like at the moment. There are things that I don't like at the moment. There are things that are in the middle. There are things where I go, okay, I don't like that. Some aspects of my like eating are a little bit out of control. I'm like, oh, I've got to have this healthy thing, and I've got to have this. I've got to have a good protein core, and protein is king, and I need to make sure I'm getting enough protein, and I've got to make sure I'm doing this, that, and the other. Blah 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 blah. I'm just gonna have a biscuit with this cup of coffee. Okay, well that doesn't go together, does it? And then like, oh, I've got to get some lunch, so I've got to get a high protein wrap, and I've got to get a high protein yogurt, and I've got to get a high protein shake, and I've got an entire punnet of grapes. Cool. That's my lunch. Can't knock that. It's healthy, it's all protein, and away we go. We're off. Cool. And then, yeah, you know, you come home, you're winning, and then like I say, oh, just have a little biscuit with this cup of coffee. Just one or two, or you know how it goes. And then this is the thing. I'm going to get on the scales tomorrow. I'm going to be like, oh, I've put weight on. Oh, I wonder how that's happened. Well, we know how it happened. Shouldn't have eaten 4 biscuits. Should you, fat boy? So there's that. And then tomorrow it's legs and eggs, isn't it? As Billy would say, legs and eggs. So I'm out there running, walking, more running, more walking, leg workout. By fucking Friday I might have recovered from it, because it's really taken its toll on me at the moment. And there we go. And because of that, I'm going to be drinking like a fish. I'm going to drink every drink in the house just to make sure that I'm not eating anything. And then come tea time, I'll be like, right, okay, I'm just gonna have this for my tea. Just gonna have some veg and some protein. That's it. That's all I'm having. Okay. And then, Wednesday morning, I'll get on the scales and there'll be something wrong. I'll have put weight on and I'll be like, how the fuck has that happened? And then you go, well, you ate 4 pounds of veg. So maybe it's that. Oh, veg is all water. Yeah, but do you know that you peed out all the water from the veg when you ate it at 7, 8 o'clock last night? Do you know that it's that. My weight is higher than I would like at the moment. I would like a stone less than it is right now, but I'd take half a stone. But there are other things that I'm enjoying. I'm enjoying going, this looks better. This feels better. I don't look in the mirror and look like I'm dying and have people telling other people, oh, he looks unwell, and so on. I think I just want the belly gone. And it was well on its way at one point, but I was literally starving myself. So, I just need the middle. I just need the bit in the middle ground. I have increased my working out, and I'm looking at a couple of other things, like, can we increase this, that, and the other? Yet every single thing I look at the moment tells me I should actually be doing less. My body hurts like a lot. Like I felt like I'd been hit by a bus when I stepped out of bed this morning, and that will be because Sunday's a fasting day. No protein going into the system, whereas Saturday, it's like full on abusive. Abuse the body all day Saturday. It's just running and walking and climbing and weightlifting and bang, bang, bang. And then you've got 4 kids that you need to do all of the things for the kids and on and on and on. And by the time you sit down and you're done with the day, it's 11 o'clock at night. Guess where you're going? You're going to fucking bed. So there's a part of me that thinks that I need to find a way to be able to still eat on a Sunday, and once I've eaten, still come in underweight, not underweight, but less weight for Monday morning weigh-in. And I'll tell you this much, 10 years ago, I could do that. 10 years ago, on a Monday morning, I was getting on the scales and going, oh, look, I lost some weight. Cool, 2 pounds off this week. That's brilliant. That's what you're aiming for. That's what you want to be doing. It was easier because I weighed a lot at that point in time. Then you go and see a personal trainer, and a personal trainer's like, you're not eating enough. You need to be eating more. You're not eating enough of this, that, and the other. Stop stepping on the scales. Scales are bullshit. It doesn't matter. As long as you're doing what you're doing. And I'm like... And then, like I say, every single thing that seems to pop up at the moment is saying you're doing too much. And I don't know if it's getting in my head, because my head's now going, you're doing too much. And I'm like, am I though? Because I feel like I'm not doing enough. I feel like I should be doing more. I feel like I can't breathe at this point in time because my chest hurts. Not like that. I feel like I've maybe done too much. I feel like I've done too much in the gym. I felt a weird twang when I was pressing out the bench, if you know what I mean. And now I'm like, I am struggling to breathe. You can hear it. So let me give you a little update on the anger management. Obviously, as we can see with dealing with the watch, it's going well. The watch doesn't know what it's doing right now. It's got a symbol of a well-known brand on its face and nothing else. I'm sure it's going fine. Let me check the app. The app says... the app says that it's installed. It's charging, apparently. Let's see what it's done. I bet you it's less. It's exactly the same as it was before. Cool. So I had an incident. Not like that. Not the incident you would imagine. I had an incident the other day which made me laugh. So, I left work and I'm walking up the hill, heading for the car. Let us know. In the business. As I get to the top of said hill, I need to cross over a 4-way crossroad. So I'm getting close and I'm assessing the situation as you do. It's like, oh, can I get across, or will I have to wait, or all this. So I'm coming close, and there's a large-ish group of people, and they're stood. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. They were stood blocking a large section of the crossing area, and it was the large section of the crossing area that I was gonna need. And I was walking up about 10, 12 feet away, and I'm like, oh, this big group of people, they're in the way. Do they think that this is the best place to stand to have this conversation? They're, I presume they're not just blocking me, they're blocking other people, etc., etc. But new me, isn't it? So I got so far through my thought process, and I slammed on the brakes. I was like, no. This is not necessary. This is just a group of people who are stood having a conversation. They're not hurting anybody. Yeah, they could be a little bit in the way. They could be a little more courteous and sort of step away from the crossing, especially if they're not crossing and they're having this conversation. But I'll navigate the situation. It doesn't need any stresses or anything like this. I get about 6 feet from them. One of the people clocks, hey, we're having this conversation, we're probably a little in the way. I'm going to move. I'm going to let people get past. Another of these people sees the first person move, and they're like, actually, you're right. We are a little in the way. I'll move with you. Frees up this entire walkway. And I'm there, and I'm like, see? That's why it didn't need anger. It didn't need, oh, look at this fucking shit show. It didn't need any of that. It was a situation that initially looked like a thing, but it resolved itself before becoming a thing. Didn't require me to be angry. And I felt good about myself. I felt good about the situation. I felt good about my decisions. I had a big smile on my face. Unlike a lady that was crossing from the other side. Like I say, 4-way crossroads. So I was trying to cross one of the roads, and a lady was crossing one of the other roads, but it intersected at the same area of crossing. And as she got close to the group, a young lady, very young lady, she was like this. I mean, look at this fucking group of people in the fucking way, standing in the fucking crossway where people can't get past. They're fucking stopping people getting past. What fucking use is that to anybody? For fuck's sake. Young woman, well sort of turned out, well represented. Like the clothes looked, she was pulling a wheelie suitcasey type thing, clearly on her way somewhere. And I was like, oh wow, that's the universe sending you a message. That's hey, You know how you just dealt with the situation and you dealt it in what I personally feel was quite a mature manner, and you did well with that situation. Let's demonstrate what it would have looked like if you'd have gone the other way and how ridiculous it would have looked, because it was embarrassing. But I was like, that is so me. That would have been my internal monologue. That would have been word perfect for exactly how I would have responded. I wouldn't have been saying it out loud, but I'd have been screaming it in my head. She, on the other hand, she was me, dialed up. And I was like, wow. So that was the absolute cherry on top, where I went, I feel even better about myself now. The of 7 days, one day there'll be a blowout seems to be easing somewhat, touching wood, obviously. I think you have to acknowledge that it's never going to be perfect. There's going to be blips and problems and errors and issues and things, and like with a lot of things in life where you're trying to if you're trying to give up drinking or give up smoking or stop eating chocolate for Lent or whatever, those first few times you're like, fuck, bro. But yeah, interesting. Something that doesn't come up too often on the podcast, but every now and then I get the opportunity to talk about a particular subject, and I am pleased to tell you that today is one of those opportunities, because I've got a new album to talk about. I know. I've said it before, when you enjoy the music that I enjoy, very, very, very little of it that gets released. I am a product of my time, and I like what I like, and I like other things, but ultimately I will get maybe 4 albums a year, and I will absolutely murder those albums until my children beg me to put other stuff on in the car, and I ignore them. So, Rob Zombie, new album came out Friday. I was about to say, I've always been a Rob Zombie fan. That is a lie. I was a massive, massive White Zombie fan. Huge White Zombie fan. And then Rob Zombie did like the solo thing, and I was like, hey. And for a long time through that first album, I was like, what are we doing here? What is this? What is this supposed to be? And then as time went on, and there were other albums, and I was like, wait, this isn't just like, it's not just a phase, it's a thing. And I was like, okay, let's start again, because I'm hearing a couple of things that I actually kind of like. Started listening to more, was like, something, I don't think this is too bad. And from that point on, it was all good, all good. Not gonna lie, Rob Zombie has released some of my favourite albums of all time, and a particular album holds a very dear, special place in our hearts, in our house, for a variety of different reasons, of which I'm not really going to go into. Saw Rob Zombie live. It was a wonderful time, and that is that. However, more recently, in fact, I'm going to use the power of the internet to just confirm something before I say it, because I think Rob Zombie albums. There might be two. Can I just get a fucking list? Studio albums. They're all great. That one's fine. That's the one. 1, 2, and then this one. Okay, so if I jump here, I think this one was... Okay, yeah. So, there's been 2 albums before the one that came out on Friday. One was fine. It was okay. It wasn't the best. It wasn't quite as good as the one before it. And you kind of go, yeah, it's great. It's fine. Wonderful. Move on. The last one before the one that came out on Friday, not so much. It was really lacking. It was like, this wasn't what I expected, and it's not amazing. And it kind of drifted away, and you were a bit like, never a good sign when you get a late stage album that's not its best. I'd heard 3 singles and saw a couple of comments that were like, this reminds me of old school White Zombie. And I was like, do you know something? I think you've got a point. These singles are bangers. Now, I'll say this. Skindred absolutely murdered their last album by releasing so many singles that you got to the point that when the album was released, you're like, I've heard all of this, and I know why you released all these singles, because the rest of the album's not very good. And that it was like a diminishing return. 3 singles, I believe, were released from this album, which I was like, okay, well, these singles are good, like really good, like old school White Zombie good. I'm now scared. I looked at pre-ordering the album. Yes, I know. As a digital album, yes, I'm aware. And it was like, give us £9 and you can have it. And I was like, oh, wow. Oh, wow. Is it 1990 already? I was like, that's a bad sign. Well, this is bad news. I was like, we've got a 3 single and done kind of album here, people. But something told me, no, this is going to be good. These singles are good. And yeah, you release the best things as a single. The rest of it's going to be rubbish. We get that. You know, you put all the good stuff in the trailer. But there was a part of me that was like, I think we're going to be all right. So do you know what? I'm going to wait until the day before. I'm going to pre-order it, knowing that the money won't go until the next day. And there we go. Got a notification literally at midnight. Hey, your album's ready. And I was like, cool. Managed to get a little half an hour listen before going to bed. And I was jumping by the time I went to bed. I was like, this is banging. I've listened to it several times since then. Some absolute bangers. Yes, the singles are great. They're not all of the great tracks, though. There are other fantastic tracks. Pretty sure there are 18 tracks on the album. A lot of interlude. Rob Zombie does like an interlude. It's something that I feel bands have started to rely on a little bit too much in the album space these days. I feel like it's padding that's probably not needed. But Rob Zombie's been known for it for forever, so it's a bit like little column A, little column B. I will say this, little bit less towards the very end. The last 2 or 3 songs aren't the strongest, but I will also say this. My middle daughter announced to me on Sunday, hey, I really like these songs. I was like, me too. I really like these songs. So far, we've just literally ticked over into March, and we've already had an album, and it's a banger, ladies and gents. So things are looking up Things can only... I'm not going to finish that one because A, well, the obvious reason, and B, I'm pretty sure we're on the verge of like World War III at this point in time, amongst other things. I got a notification on Facebook the other day, and that notification was, you need to decide what to do about your ads. I was like, fuck off. And they were like, no, you need to do it. I was like, well, funnily enough, Instagram's been telling me this for a few weeks. However, I've got a trick. If you close Instagram and then reopen it, it doesn't ask you. You do have to do that every time, but it gets around having to do the ad thing. I was like, okay, Facebook, you want to know about my ads? Well, fuck you. And I closed it. And I reopened it and it went, I need to know about your ads. And I was like, what? They're like, yeah, you need to tell us about your ads. I was like, fuck. I was like, right, okay, well, it might not be the worst. Maybe there's a way I can get around it. So let me tell you what it says. Here we go. You need to make a choice about your ads. As part of the law in your region, you have to choose whether you see ads on Meta products. How we use your information for ads. Anybody want to know the key piece that I pulled out of that sentence? So let's get started. That's the button option. You can subscribe to Facebook. Just let that settle in for a minute. Yeah. Or you could use free with ads. And I was like, Facebook is just adverts. So what difference does it make? I'll just go with that option, shall I? But wait. There's a blurb. It tells me what I'm selecting. So let's have a look. Use free with ads. Discover products and brands through personalized ads. Nah, I don't need anything personalized. I will never, ever buy anything from an advert. That's my new thing. That's my new stance. If you advertise and you ram that advert down my throat where I can't skip it and I can't ignore it and I can't close it and I can't get around it, I will never buy your product. Okay? Okay. Personalized ads. Okay, well, I don't want them personalized. While using our product for free, your info will be used for ads. And I went, no, thank you. It does inform me that that is my current experience, at which point I went, yeah, I don't want that. I don't want that at all. So I went, Yep, guess that's the end of Facebook then. So I'm literally like, that was a few days ago. I haven't been into Facebook since. Like I say, Instagram does the same. Bearing in mind that they're all owned by the same company. They're all owned by Meta. I'm like, well, how can I get around it on Instagram but not on Facebook? Presuming that before long, just won't be able to get into Instagram. So, guess that's the end of those things. And this is the thing. This is the thing. The thing is, it's this true belief that, oh, you have to pay us. You need to pay us because it's free, but you have to pay us. We're one of the biggest companies in the world, but you need to pay us. One of the biggest companies in the world. You, the little guy, need to pay. Pay for what? You've already informed me that you're making money off the back of the adverts that I have no choice whether to be subjected to. So what? Just, you're going to make money one way or another for a service that's been free for, well, ever. Okay. You've probably forgotten the fact that you ceased being relevant many years ago. Like, we were literally keeping you around for a handful of reasons. And let's face it, let's all own up to this one. It was birthdays, wasn't it? That was literally it. And 10 years ago, you put some pictures on there that every now and then Facebook reminds you exist, and you go, huh, look at so-and-so, look how young they were. Wow. Anyway, I'm going to move on. Like, nobody is spending all day on fucking Facebook. It is the most dinosaur of them all. Okay, so we need Instagram. We need Instagram because of the pictures, bro. And if you're not, if you didn't Instagram it, did it really happen? Yeah, it did. You just put the picture on your phone, or if you really need to, you probably print it out. The true belief that you need these things. You absolutely need these things. And don't get me wrong, I fully get it. At some point in time, they're going to get me. They're going to be like, hey, we've put ads on the air you breathe. Which, not going to lie, struggling to breathe at the moment. Hurts a little. Maybe I didn't pay my subscription to air. So, yeah, maybe they were going to get me at some point with, hey, you didn't pay for your air subscription. But, you can just walk away. Like with the TV stuff, with all the streaming stuff. At the point in time that Netflix were like, hey, bro, guess what? We're going to charge you, and we're going to put adverts on, and you can't skip them, and you can't get rid of them. And don't forget we're charging you for this, yeah? This is worse than TV was. That's cool, yeah? And I went, no, cancel my subscription. The only one I really do anything about is Disney, and that's for like the kids. And I don't want them to have the adverts. I don't want them to have to deal with it. It's fucking bullshit. It's bad enough that like my daughter has to sit through stupid adverts when she's watching like TV stuff on the alleged streaming services. I just don't need it. I just don't need it. Do you know what I've not really missed? Facebook. Do you know what I could happily uninstall right now? Facebook. Do you know if they finally say, hey, you actually need to do this on Instagram, what I'll stop using? Instagram. One of the things that I use Instagram for, I haven't seen in days. So, what do I need it for? One last thing to talk about, which I already mentioned. If I can put the cart before the horse on this one, didn't I? My son came home yesterday morning, told me that I can finally have a lie-in. I was like, the fuck are you talking about? He's like, you can have a lie-in now. I'm like, when? When am I having a lie-in? I'm up now. I've been up for the best part of 2 hours. What are we talking about right now? He's like, you can have a lie-in on a Sunday. I'm like, since fucking when? I was like, hang on a minute. I get up early on a Sunday to walk the dog so that you can go to football. I was like, have you been moved up in football? And then he ran off all shy. And then Liam was like, go back and tell Daddy what happened. So he got like his final certificate for the football that he was doing and has been informed that he can move up to the next class. It's absolutely 100% to do with his football ability and nothing to do with the fact that he towers about a foot above all the other children that are in what was his current class. No, that's not the reason. It's not. Like, Leanne showed me a picture. It's like, here he is getting his certificate. Look at the height difference between him and the other children. I was like, Jesus. Like, the other children were borderline babies, like toddlers, and he's there, preparing for what he's going to do when he goes to school. Apparently the coach was very nice about it and was like, oh, I've been watching him recently, and his confidence has really come up, and he's really good on the ball, and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, I said to Leanne, I was like, nothing to do with him being a foot taller than everyone else. Nothing to do with that. No. But super proud, super happy. Absolutely doesn't change whether I'm getting a fucking lie in on a Sunday, though, does it? Because there's only a 40-minute difference, and that's right, the dog still needs walking. Ideally before football, so doesn't change a fucking thing. I should cherish this, because before long he'll be going to a later football, and then before long, presumably, he will switch over to actually playing football, and that's when the real shit show starts. But it's all good. It's all good. I haven't watched any movies this week. That is a lie. I haven't watched a movie that I need to talk about, because me and my eldest watched Men in Black 3 and had a conversation about which is the best Men in Black movie. The answer is 1, because without 1 you wouldn't have the rest. But an argument was made that 1 and 3 could be on par, because 3 introduces one of probably the best, if not one of the best bad guys in the whole thing, and introduces a series of other characters or variations of existing characters. So would rival 1, but we both agreed 2 wasn't one of the best. Neither of us have seen the alleged 4th. Alleged because I don't acknowledge its existence, but I have a horrible feeling that we're going to. Anywho, I've watched a lot of TV. After all of the TV bashing, I've watched a lot of it. We finished season 2 of The Last of Us. Good, fine, watchable, great, etc. Only 7 episodes in the series, and I am aware that there was some issues around some liberties that were taken with series 2, and especially the fact that we're getting a series 3. But game-wise, not a huge amount of meat left on the bone for another TV series. So it's been suggested that another TV series would potentially have to either reveal things about a third game that obviously doesn't exist, or go off in a different direction, which would cause a whole host of other problems. I could list a series of things that's wrong with The Last of Us TV series, especially the second series. Things that like me and Leanne sort of went through when we've been watching it. Casting choices is probably the top of my list. Some casting choices have been amazing. I loved the fact that they had Troy Barker in it. Troy Baker? Absolutely loved it. They had the guy that did the voice of Tommy, Joel's brother, in it as well, and a lot of other people, and things like that are great. But some of the other choices for some of the other people in it have been really poor. So there's that. I've watched episode 5 of Watchmen. Episode 5 of Watchmen was good. The guy, he plays a character called Looking Glass. He's been in a variety of different things, a lot of Coen Brothers movies. I think one of his most notable roles was like well, obviously there are 3 guys in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And it's not George Clooney, and it's not shit, I had his name and everything. Fuck it. The little guy, the little of the three. He's like quite a main character in Watchmen, and that episode was pretty much all about him, and it was really good. The main character is now experiencing her grandfather's memories, and a lot of it. There's been like quite a few sort of reveals, but my biggest complaint about it is it's quite slow. It's kind of backwards with coming forwards. I think you'd say it's very we're gonna drip feed everything to you as slow as possible. And a lot of, like, when you're watching TV, and a lot when you're sort of invested in a story, and a lot of when you're sort of watching these things, you kind of want it to get on with it. I often wonder whether TV series like this would benefit from having an episode taken away, and if they were told, like, right, you've given us like for The Last of Us 7 episodes. Okay, well, if The Watchmen had 7 episodes, what if they took one of those episodes away? What would they do with the lack of time? And how would they condense it? And how would they make it run that little better? Maybe. And because me and Leanne have watched all of The Last of Us, all that's available, this evening we watched the first episode of The Penguin. I didn't want to watch The Penguin. I had no interest in The Penguin. 2 reasons. Number 1, I wasn't a fan of The Batman. Number 2, the thought of an entire TV series about The Penguin from The Batman. No, thank you. I get the whole, hey, it's Colin Farrell. I've told Leanne this about 50 times, and every time she goes, what, really? And I go, yeah, just like the last time I said it. The idea of The Penguin from The Batman as a TV series, I was like, nah, good, thanks. And then I rewatched The Batman and actually really enjoyed it, and heard nothing but fantastic reviews for The Penguin. So it kind of swayed me a bit, and I said to Leanne, I was like, look, this is on the list of things we could watch. We had a decision to make. I kind of said maybe we should watch Tulsa King, because I want to watch the 3rd series. However, we ended on watching The Penguin. We watched the first episode, and yeah, it's exactly what you would have thought. It's good. That's what I meant when I said that. Like, if a series gets really, really, really good reviews from pretty much every single person you hear talking about it, it's probably going to be good. We watched it. It went a certain way, and it was kind of interesting. Obviously, it's a different take on the Penguin. So there are, I guess, some liberties being taken there, which are kind of fine, because, you know, it's in a different universe, a different version, etc. But it was good. It was enjoyable. It did give Tulsa King vibes, if I'm honest. One part I nearly said to Leanne, I was like, we could have just watched Tulsa King and got the same result in a way, but I didn't want to spoil anything for her. Games wise, ironically, having watched a lot of The Last of Us, I decided to play The Last of Us, the first one, and regretted my decision. My word, that game is slow. Like, real slow. Like iceberg slow, glacial slow. Like, holy fucking shitballs, was this how we played games back in those days? This is slow. To the point that I was playing it and I kept falling asleep playing it because it was so slow, and I was like, I don't think I need this in my life right now. So switched back to Ghost of Yoti. Ghost of Yoti struggles massively with I'm on a revenge mission. I just seem to forget that fact at all available moments. And off I go to collect 16 bear asses. This is my issue is that I know that Ghost of Tsushima had this sort of side-ish, not side quest as such, but like this side element to it. But I don't remember it ever standing out as like, oh, we're supposed to be doing this and taking revenge and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we're just over here picking flowers. Yet a literal mission I did last night was picking flowers. No joke. Do a flower arrangement by picking the flowers you want for your flower arrangement. No word of a lie. That's what we're doing while we've got to take revenge on the Yoti 6. It's just it just feels like a lot of time wasting. It doesn't feel very focused. It's like, hey, go over here and do a thing. Okay, what if I don't want to do the main mission? You can go over there and, do another thing if you want. Okay, I guess I'll do that then. It's that. Don't get me wrong, there's been some really good sort of moments in it, like big battles. Like, I did one last night, baby. Excuse me. Fighting your way through a castle, lots of enemies. Guns have sort of come into it now, which in some ways is good. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes a little bit of a cop out in a game that's sort of very sword combat driven. But it depends how you feel about stuff like that. I've found uses for the guns, but also I feel a bit cheap in a way using them. I am also well and truly back into playing Into the Radius 2. I've sort of managed to sort out my gear and stuff. I've also leveled up since going back to it, which sort of opened up a massive selection of new weapons. I'm like actual new weapons I've never used before. And I've then leveled up again since then, which has opened up. I think it's opened up all the weapons now and all the weapon options. So I've been trying out guns that I've never seen, let alone used. It's good. It's a lot of fun. I have modded it to the moon and back. So I don't think I'm ever going to be able to play it as a vanilla version of the game. Maybe ever, because whoa, the number of mods I've got on it at this point in time is crazy. Not going to lie, the mods are very much like, rather than doing it in increments, we're just going to do it all. So if you want, a clip for your gun with 300 rounds in, then we got you covered kind of thing. Last night I did what I always believed to be the last mission in the game. Went back, turned it in, and the game was like, cool, got another mission for you. And I went, what? So yeah, leveled up, new weapons. I spent like an hour setting up a new body armor backpack weapon sort of combo, and I went to try and get some points to unlock the new mission that I'm guessing never done before. Been really enjoying getting back to it. There was a point in time where I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to go back to that game. I felt like I was done. And now it tells me that I've played it for 180 hours. And I'm like, bring it on, baby. Apparently it's getting a story in the next update. So we'll get to see what that looks like. There we go. That's the podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. And I will catch you next time. So there you go. What do you think of that? Another one done. Another one gone. Big thank you for watching. Big thank you for listening. Big thank you for being here. Before you leave us, please do consider like, share, subscribe, and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. And check out the website, thecookiecast.com. There we have social media links and an email button, and that way you can get in touch with us. That is it for this one. Until next time, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then.
This has been another episode of CookieCast. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share and subscribe.